Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Friday Charge brought to you by EV Geek Studios. As always, we are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian. And today, September 26th, 2025, we've got a lot to talk about. There's a dead EV in the market. There's another EV that's getting a bunch of changes very rapidly. We might be getting a cool new van. Without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, we're going to start the night with a sad topic. Everyone pour one out. The Nissan Ariya is dead in the US. Late last week, Nissan removed the Ariya from its lineup of 2026 models for the US market. This comes just after we reported that Nissan was having to cut back on Leaf production due to part sourcing issues, and this seems to be based around that as well. A spokesperson from Nissan said the company is, quote, reallocating resources to support the launch of the all-new 2026 Leaf, end quote. To me, this isn't a huge surprise. I mean, Nissan has struggled over the last few years to really sell the Ariya in large volumes. The first half of 2025, Nissan has managed to move more units than any other really time period. They moved 7,500 units in the first half of 2025, which is 50% more than they did in the first half of 2024. So yeah, and also, not that this matters much anymore, because there's only 5 days left, but it never qualified for federal tax credit. It's they've had to do price decreases almost every year to try to get the pricing to be competitive, which if you're interested, now's the time to buy a new Ariya. Nissan has cut prices for this model year. You can get the base car now right under 40 grand, just MSRP, which who knows after dealer incentives what that actually works out to. But yeah, this is, a bit of a bummer. It's a pretty sharp looking car, in my opinion. It has some of quirks. It's got some little things that maybe make it not an awesome road tripper or things like that. But again, in the category of this car, BZ4X, Solterra, or at least the current generations, not the refreshed BZ4X and Solterra, because we don't know about those yet. They kind of, to me, all fit in that same vein of EVs that you can take out on a trip if you want to, and you're okay with waiting a little while, but otherwise really kind of comfortable, nice commuters that have decent, okay range, enough range to commute in. But the Ariya also has been known to have issues, charging in cold weather. You have to go 7 menus deep to turn on a battery heater, but then it doesn't actually precondition for charging. It only keeps, anyway, there's some weirdness with the vehicle, but Nissan has also iterated on it each year, tried to improve some of the stuff. And so, yeah, and I'll be curious to know if the Ariya ever comes back in the US. It's not here for the 2026 model year in the US, but they're still building it globally.
Yeah.
And so who knows, maybe we'll get it back in 2027.
According to the Inside EV's article, they're pausing, but for the whole 2026 model year. So, that's another year and a half.
Well, this also wouldn't be the first time Nissan has done something like this. When they redesigned the Nissan Frontier, they didn't sell it for a year.
Okay.
They did a weird thing. They put the motor and the transmission from the new truck in the old body style for one model year, then just didn't sell the truck for a year, and then launched the new model. So who knows? Maybe this is Nissan pulling a play out of that playbook, and next year there's going to be a new Ariya or something. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they're just kind of going back to square one with their EVs, because the two they had out weren't, they were okay. They weren't compelling EVs. So maybe they're saying, you know what, we're just going back to the drawing board. We're going to pause Leaf for a while, or cut back production on Leaf. We're going to can the Ariya for a while and kind of just start with square one and see where we are with engineering, with software, with tariffs, and just kind of pause. And, we may see other manufacturers do that. We talked about last week that Dodge decided not to, release the Rev, which, but that's probably not that shocking, because they only postponed it about 43 times. And, so yeah, maybe Nissan can get their act together, because, I think I read for the first time they're not in the top. You may have told me that they're not in the top 10
last week.
Yeah, last
week. They're not in the top 10 U.S. automakers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
and it's kind of hard to find. It's kind of hard to name 10 off the top of your head that beat them. So that's pretty rough. So
yeah. That said, this is not consumer advice. Or this is consumer advice, but it's probably not good consumer advice. The Nissan Ariya was surprisingly fun to drive around the circuit of the Americas.
And it was. And surprisingly, that's the only time we've been able to drive them. We cannot, our dealerships just don't have them here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've checked every dealer, we have 3 dealerships in Central Arkansas that sell Nissans, and none of them ever have Arias. We were able
Yeah.
to find one, and my buddy had out in Conway that had a Leaf on it, which we did a review on, but just don't see him down here, and
Yeah.
not many on the roads either.
All right, moving on. Volvo is bringing lots of changes to the 2026 EX90. The biggest update on this is the car is moving to an 800-volt battery pack. The model year 2025, which was the first model year for EX90 in the US, had a 400-volt battery pack. This should enable the vehicle to charge at higher speeds. Volvo has not given any hard numbers on this, no like peak kilowatt rates or an actual 10 to 80 time, anything like that. But they are stating the car can add 155 miles of range in 10 minutes. Not bad. It's
Yeah.
2.5 hours of driving, in
Yep.
theory-ish. The next update EX90 is getting is Volvo's new software hardware platform, which we have discussed before. It was a while ago. I forgive you if you don't remember. This is powered by the NVIDIA Drive AGX Orin computer, which is supposed to enable more advanced driver's assistant features, more software integrations, etc. Volvo is also adding a few new driver safety features. There's like a new emergency stop function. There's now the ability for the car to steer out of the lane if it thinks something is coming and it can't avoid it. And apparently this will actually works better at night now too, and some other tweaks like that. But here's what I think is still cool. Those who purchase a 2025 model year EX90 will be able to get the computer system upgrade.
Sweet.
They won't be able to get the 800-volt battery pack, but they will be able to get the computer upgrade. And Volvo has stated that. They said it will be available through a service appointment. Like, cool. And this transitions really well into our next topic, unless you have something you want to add to this.
I mean, just saw it here in this article. Now it comes standard with the electrochromatic panoramic roof, which we thought was really cool. Because I mean, if you can't have a tinted roof, it's cool to have the electrochromatic panoramic one. So, yep. So next story, Sebastian.
Yeah. So Volvo will be upgrading computer systems for free on the 2025 model year EX90s because they now have a new system that can do better self-driving, blah, 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 or not self-driving, better driver's assistance, better software, etc. FSD version 14 is almost here. Oh, that's a really funny typo on the doc.
Almost.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk posted on X that FSD 14 will begin rolling out, quote, next week. Which, I mean, in Elon time could be next week, could be 2 months from now, who knows?
Take it with a grain of salt.
It'll be rolling out to early access first, with 14.1 and 14.2 to follow shortly after. And he claims that by 14.2, the car will feel, quote, almost like it's sentient, end quote. This is Tesla's first major FSD release of 2025, and there's many customers who are just frustrated. Hardware 3 cars are still stuck on V12. And even though Elon had stated that hardware 3 cars would be retrofitted if Tesla decided they could not be updated any further, there's been no further information on that topic. And hardware 4 owners are starting to feel a little left out, or like they're kind of running toward the end, because Tesla and Elon are frequently posting and talking about hardware 5 or AI 5 and AI 6.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those people that had an older hardware, and
yeah.
I mean, are they saying they're going to update these cards? Sure, but until this thing comes out of FSD beta, whatever it's called, until it comes out of supervised and doesn't, they're not doing it until it's like full-fledged launch. That's my crystal ball opinion. Until it's full-fledged launch, no restrictions, which could be 2, 3, 5, 8 years away, then we'll see them update cars, and by then there won't be many probably on the road so that have FSD. So just playing the waiting game, I guess.
So, I guess, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, I just thought this was a funny topic that I wrote. I didn't even do this intentionally, just to write that right after talking about Volvo will be updating the cars.
All right, I'm going to show my uneducated self here. What is sentient? Don't know. Didn't look it up before we talked.
It'll feel like it's alive. Like it'll feel like a person, like a human, like.
Well, that's kind of just weird. You'll be talking to Gronk, having a full conversation with Gronk while you're driving, tell him Gronk about your bad day and everything like
You
that.
say
So,
something
yeah.
Gronk doesn't like.
You say
Like that
something
you keep
Gronk
saying
doesn't
Gronk.
like.
I'm not going to correct you.
Yes.
You
You
tell
come in and
Gronk
say,
something
Gronk,
it
I'm
doesn't
having a
like.
bad day. I need to mellow out. He plays some Barry White or some kind of G for you, just some stuff like that.
You
So,
say something it doesn't agree with, and it drives you off the road.
yes, you're in a ditch because you said something about Tesla or Elon. You're now in the ditch on the road. So, and there's no record of FSD having the problem. It's going to say all driver error. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That said, I mean, version 13 has been pretty impressive for the most part of a couple of times that I've experienced it. So like if version 14 is better than 13, then that's impressive on itself. So like kudos there. This wasn't meant to bash Tesla, bash Elon, whatever. This was it's just at this point it feels funny.
Yep.
It's just every time there's a new FSD version, it's this is perfect, or this is almost perfect, and then the next one, it's still almost perfect. It's like, well, wait a minute, hold on.
Kind of like iPhone announcements. You're like, oh, they're so close, but and the next one is like, oh, so close, but
now it's orange.
Now it's orange. It's even thinner. So yeah. Yep.
Moving on. We might be getting Kia's electric van.
That'd be cool.
Kia's cool electric van, the PV5, was initially kind of announced and assumed to be forbidden fruit for the US market for a few various reasons. But there have been recent sightings in the US that are starting to lead people to believe that's not the case. So recently, a PV5 was spotted again in the US, which I mean is interesting on its own. But there's a few other tidbits as well. Observers of this notice that the van has integrated front side markers, which is a US market requirement and not present on vehicles that are sold over like the PV5 vans for other markets. And so it would just be interesting to me if Kia has gone through the trouble of homologating one of these if it's not actually going to be sold in the US. There is a counter possibility on this. It could be for Canada.
Yep.
Just like they said, we're not getting the EV5, but Canada is allegedly. This could just be for Canada. Canada typically follows our same regulations as far as like vehicle designs go, which makes sense. And so that's very well could be all it is. But I like to imagine a world in which we get it.
I know. I mean, it's kind of cool looking. I mean, you're seeing this blue one we have on the screen. Looks like they kept those nice EV9 wheels for this van. So yeah, I mean, I'm see if we have any. I don't think we have any inside photos. So
yeah, it's one of those. There's a lot of different interior because there's a cargo van version, there's a passenger van version, there's a bunch of versions, and between those two, it's a pretty neat little package. I do hope if it comes to the US, they should just drop the EV9 or Ioniq 9 powertrain in it.
Oh, I thought you meant drop them. Like, wait, hold on. I'm glad you finished that sentence. So yeah,
no.
That would be true. Yeah, dropping the EV9
powertrain
would be smart. Yep.
But otherwise,
it'd be cool to see them.
Or it'll go to Canada, and
yeah,
we'll just be sad.
We need more vans. I mean, even we don't have any gas powered vans anymore. I think we're down to 3 now. So yeah. I like vans. All right, so that's finished wrapping with the new Toyota, Honda, and Chrysler. For Kia. You're right. Yeah.
Yep. I was forgetting the Sienna was what I was forgetting.
Yep. All right, so Sebastian, that ends our news for the week. You finally took a decent trip in your Hyundai Ioniq 5. So it was kind of, you almost took 2 trips. So yeah.
You
pulled a Joel is what you pulled. That's what we call it.
I did pull a Joel. And in hindsight, I don't know how I did it. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. So last week I did a lot of driving. 1,900 miles of it to be exact.
Oh, that's right. You took 2 trips. I forgot.
I did take 2 trips.
Yep.
Almost 3 trips.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
Yep.
So our first trip was a short trip. I've done it many times. I've done it in my Bolt. It's one of those easy peasy, not a big deal. Went to Memphis for a concert. Left my house at 100%, but then had to do some driving around before I left to situate it, get our daughter situated, get stuff dropped off, whatever. By the time I left, where we ended up back in the city that we live in, and I was at 80%. So I did have one interesting thing happen there. So on my way to Memphis, I was about halfway, and the car navigation popped up and told me, which I'm happy it did, that the Electrify America station I was going to, 4 out of 4 stalls were out of order.
Was this after Brinkley?
Yeah, it would be
Before?
Forest City.
Yeah,
It
but
was before Brinkley. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so you could have stopped in Brinkley if you needed to.
I could have, but
Yeah,
um,
you can make it to Memphis. You should be able to make it to Memphis.
so that was a bit of a, because I was going to stop in Forest City because it's a good halfway, not halfway, it's more than halfway, but I knew it'd be at a be at like 30% state of charge or something like that. It'd be a good time to stretch my legs. But that wasn't going to happen anymore. And so I was like, well, I could stop at Brinkley, but I'd be at like 50% charge. What's it matter? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because the other issue of superchargers is on a 2023 Ioniq 5, I'd just sit there and pull 96 kilowatts the whole time, and I guess it wouldn't matter. Anyway,
there's no place to sit there for just 10 minutes to get a charge to get you to Memphis. So yeah.
Ended up what I did was I stretched it and made it to West Memphis.
Okay.
And pulled in at 10%.
Where'd you charge in West Memphis?
There is a new Pilot Flying J, EV Go, GM Energy, whatever. At one of there's the exit that has a Pilot and a Flying J, and it's at one of the two. I don't remember which one.
I remember that where it is. It's where the brake is.
And it's in the big teardrop. Anyway, so stopped there, and it was literally just to add like 20% or something so that I could get to our hotel in Memphis because I had level 2 charging at the hotel. And ended up when we went to the concert, the parking garage I parked in had one level 2 charger, and I managed to get it, which was cool, and it was free. And the charger at the hotel was free, so that was all fine. I did have one weird thing happen while I was charging though in West Memphis. So plugged in at 10%, the car, immediately ramped up. All that was great. All that was good. Saw 235-ish kilowatts until the car hit 60%, and then it tanked, and it just sat flat out 30 kilowatts. And I was like, that's weird. Is it maybe a cable issue? Did I get the cable too hot? Whatever. So I did stop the session. I mean, at this point, I was at 60%. I didn't need to be charging, but my wife was in the bathroom, so I was just kind of waiting outside. And I was like, here, just for giggles. Unplugged. I have auto charge enabled, so it was pretty easy. I unplugged the car, went to the other cable, plugged it in. It started charging 30 kilowatts. That's all it was giving me. So then I opened up Car Scanner, and I could see the charger was offering 340 kilowatts to the car, but the car was only asking for 30. So I'm assuming it was 100 degrees outside. Yeah. The sun was beating down. It was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm assuming it just got hot and decided it needed to just. So it did have, I think I actually now in hindsight, the car was also on. So like it was running climate control in the cabin. Who knows? Didn't really impact me at that point because shortly after my wife came out, unplugged, we left, we went to Memphis, and that was fine. Return trip, made it all the way to JT's.
Okay.
Before charging, and I only did that because I knew from there I was going to Hot Springs and then coming home, so I knew I had some extra stops, so I was just going to add a little bit of extra juice, stop there for like 10 minutes of it left. And so yeah, that was easy peasy. Got home, next morning, woke up 100%, got in the car, and drove to Kansas.
That's what we do in Arkansas. We drive to Kansas. See, my butt couldn't handle all that. You're a better person than me. You also have.
Well, trust me, it was.
Too.
I was not happy with I was trying to find pillows or whatever else.
I had a butt cushion you could borrow. You didn't ask. I could let you borrow the butt cushion.
You're right.
It's magical.
And then, while I was in Kansas, I tried really hard to find one. I could not find one at anywhere I went. So anyway, ended up that trip making it to Clarksville and then having to stop because we were traveling with a toddler. She needed to get out of the car, whatever. We stopped at Clarksville. We were only like 54%. But ABC always be charging. So I went ahead and charged. And Ioniq 5 did not hold me up at all on any of the stops we did. We, as a family, took longer than the car every time. We finished that stop in Clarksville. We were in the store for about 30 minutes because after everyone used the restroom, we ran through, we grabbed some snacks, and then we left. And we were there for exactly 30 minutes. The car was at 96% when we left.
So you had plenty enough to get here. You didn't have to stop at JT's, did you? No.
Oh, no. Well, this is leaving.
Oh, leaving. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So then we drove straight through. The next stop was in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. At the Target over there was an Electrify America station. There's also a bunch of Francis Energy stations kind of scattered around Tulsa. No. Yeah, I was avoiding those on purpose. I did have my card just in case.
Yes.
But I was trying to avoid those. There's an EA station. We got there at, I want to say 20%. So 96 to 20% to get to Broken Arrow. Again, plugged in, got everything inside, all used the restroom. We decided we wanted coffee. So we got Starbucks while we were in there, which took a little bit. And then we ran through, we grabbed a snack from one of the aisles, came out. The car, as I was walking to it, hit 100%. Again, like after
You're
35
slow,
minutes or so.
Sebastian. We need to speed you up on these stops. And my
We're getting
coughing.
there.
Sorry, y'all. I've had
We're
to put
getting
you on
there,
mute.
okay?
I'm hitting a coughing spell. So go on,
Okay,
Sebastian.
we're getting
I'm
there.
glad you're talking. So because I
So
can't right
after
now.
that, I had a couple options for how I could do this. If I could have gone the way we usually go to get to where we visit our family, but that would mean relying on, there's a city with 2 Francis Energy chargers on them. One has a plug share score
Roll
of
those
1.8,
dice.
and one has a plug share score of 1.7. And that would have been to try to squeeze just enough to get up to Kansas, because where we were visiting has a level 2 charger on the street right outside of where we were going to be. And I was like, okay, well, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I started looking into it, and I started getting the feeling that level 2 charger wasn't working.
Ah.
Now,
This is the
because
picture
we
you
were,
showed me.
I sent it to you once I got there, yeah.
Yep.
Because once I was digging into, it was one of those, it's a small town, it's not getting constant plug share updates or anything. So like the most recent update was for like 2 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But 2 months ago, someone couldn't charge there. And I mean, it's a basic level 2 station. There's no authentication, there's no payment, there's no nothing. So if it's not working, it's probably legitimately just not working.
Yeah.
Assuming it wasn't something stupid like the power was out or whatever.
Yep.
So I've ended up finding a EV Go Pilot J. Anyway, I'm leaving it station not too far away from where we were going. And so that's what I chose to do. Got there at like 30%, pretty high.
Yeah.
Got there, plugged in, everyone ran in, used the bathroom, came back out. The car was at like 87% when we got back out to the car. Got there, got to where we were going, and the level 2 charger was wrapped in a black trash bag.
There you go.
So I made a good call there. The next day, we stayed the night with some family up there. The next day, we drove up to Wichita, went to the zoo. The zoo had level 2 charging in the parking lot. It wasn't free, but it was like 10 cents a kilowatt hour. It wasn't anything crazy. And it was under a nice solar canopy. It was kind of cool. My car got to sit in the shade all day because we were there literally all day. They were also
there's one thing you know about Sebastian. He likes his zoos and museums. Yes, he does.
They weren't super fast level 2 chargers. I think they were like 6.5 kilowatt. I got there at like 30%, and when we left almost 8 hours later, my car was at 80%.
Really? Yeah, it's level 1.5.
But hey, I'll take it. It was
it's free.
It wasn't free, but it was cheap.
Oh, yeah, it was cheap. 10, 15 cents is not bad if you got to, but once you get to 25 and 30, you're like, I don't know about that.
So anyway, but I decided 80% was plenty. Ended up going back to, after that, we went back to where our family lives, parked out there. And that night we were talking about what we were going to do the next day. And so we were going to go visit. We were driving about an hour and a half east of where we were. And so I was like, just to be safe, I ended up finding there's a free level 2 charger from the same people that do the one that's supposed to be working about a mile from where I was. So I ended up driving my car over there, plugging in, and just walking the mile back. Yeah, it's exercise.
You couldn't go to the gym. You couldn't do the gym while you were out. So yeah.
And then later that night, about 3 or 4 hours later, I walked the mile back over there, unplugged the car, brought it back. It was at 97% or something when I decided to go get it. Great. And so then the return trip the next day. So since I was about an hour and a half east of where I was, I came home a slightly different route. Instead of coming down and riding the Cimarron Turnpike to Tulsa, I went basically straight down through Bartlesville. Stopped at Broken Arrow at like 20%. Perfect. That time we were there for, again, like 25 something minutes, left at 90%. Also, it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon for the return trip, because after we finished what we were doing, drove from Broken Arrow, ended up stopping in Ozark. Supercharger.
Ozark. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So you skipped the new one, and you skipped Van Buren, and you skipped All
Yeah.
those.
Ended up
Okay.
stopping in because I was trying to stretch it to Clarksville, but the passengers needed to get out of the car.
Dang passengers.
And they couldn't wait another 20 minutes.
Yes.
Anyway, got to Clarksville, plugged in 96 kilowatts. We were in the store for like 10 minutes and the car moved 20%. And it's just like, okay, I'm just, after sitting
Clarksville has
there,
been pretty dependent lately.
it really has.
Yeah.
It's been pretty, dependable. But I just was sitting there and it's like, ugh. So we got back out of the car and I started looking and I was like, okay, if we stay here 2 more minutes, we have enough juice to make it to Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be close, but we can make it to Little Rock.
And you had Conway as a backup.
As a backup,
Yep.
yes.
Yes.
But I was like, I think we can get to Little Rock.
Yeah.
So we got my daughter in her car seat and then I unplugged the car and we left. And it was at like 40-something% when we left.
Oh.
And so then just 75 all the way. Made it to JT's at like 7 or 8%, which is actually higher than I was expected to get there to. I was expecting like a 5% arrival.
Any weird things the car does when you get that low or not?
Just comes up and tells you.
Okay.
Just it's like low battery.
Same thing happens when you go the wrong way in a one-way street in those EGMP cars. Flashes on the screen. You were on a one-way street. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm just leaving a parking lot.
Yeah. I did have one weird issue at
was that?
JT's on my way back, and I didn't text him about it. I meant to, but I forgot.
By the way, JT, Franklin Charging, always talk about it. They now have a Facebook page. We finally were able to get JT, or he's finally decided
able to get him
side.
on the social media side. Yes.
So if you want to ever want to see or hear everything we talk about with JT and Franklin Charging, check out Franklin Charging. I believe it's Little Rock or something. We'll put a link in the description so you guys can head over to Facebook and check out all the cool things he has. Okay, go on.
Yeah. My weird issue, I couldn't stop my charge session.
Start or stop?
Stop. Because, I was ready to go after 6 minutes because I just was literally trying to put just enough in to get me home because I have a level 2 charger at home, so it didn't matter. I was like trying to stop it. I tried on the screen on the charger, could not for the life of me let me hit the button because, as we know, the charge point screens are not amazing.
Nope.
I couldn't. I tried what you're not supposed to do, but I tried just squeezing the handle.
Yep.
Didn't stop.
Yep.
Which is supposed to. That was weird.
Yep.
And I was like, well, maybe it's because the car's, because it locks the connector whenever it is charging. So I went in the car, changed the setting to tell it just always unlocked. Tried again, still wouldn't stop. Poked around on the screen, couldn't get it to stop. Couldn't find a button to stop the session in the car.
Could you have moved the charge rate down to like the percentage you want to go to?
We're getting there.
We're
getting there.
Look at me. I'm thinking.
Ultimately, how I got it to stop was I went in the car and set my DC charge limit to below where I was. And then it would let me stop. But because of that, I spent like 10 minutes fooling with that. So then I was over 80%.
Yep. Have you been back since or not?
Yes, but I was on a different unit though when I went back. Because I got home and I realized I left my bag that has my computer that I'm currently using, as well as some other stuff, in Kansas.
What day did you go back?
The next day.
Yeah,
I got home at like...
I should have tagged along with you.
You could have.
I know.
You didn't ask.
Was it invited?
You knew I was going.
Yeah.
You could have asked.
What time did you leave and get back on that?
So I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I would have went with Sebastian. So yeah, that would happen.
No. From the trip back from Kansas.
Oh, okay.
I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Realized that. Crashed out a little bit. Went to sleep. The next morning, ended up arranging some family member tag. I had the Kansas family member drive. He drove about... Sorry. Oh, bless me. Sorry. My Kansas family member drove about 2 hours. I have a family member who lives in Fayetteville who drove 2 hours from Fayetteville and met him. So they met halfway.
So they met, okay.
Then he drove to Fayetteville. Then all I had to do was drive to Fayetteville, which is only 3.5 hours versus driving 7 hours one way.
So did you go back to Clarksville?
I did.
Okay.
So I ended up stopping in Clarksville on the way. Because I wanted to make sure I was going to it said I could get to Fayetteville from 100% state of charge
Yeah,
up to there. It said I was going to get Fayetteville at like 10% is what it was showing as an estimated arrival.
But there's mountains up there, so.
Yeah. And I was like, that was fine. I wasn't too worried about there because I actually ended up arriving basically, it was like spot on of what it was predicting.
Oh.
But I wanted to make sure I had enough juice to drive around in Fayetteville because I didn't know, when I got there, if he wasn't back yet, then I was going to have to kill time, whatever. So I ended up stopping in Clarksville on the way up, literally, I was there for 10 minutes left. Then went up, got there at like 40%, and the car was telling me I was going to get there at 40%. Also, just as a note, route planner, I got there exactly at the percent it said every time.
Really? Did it adjust much during the trip or not?
No, it was spot on. It was spot on basically every time. I was impressed. Now, it was still asinine in trying to get me to stop at chargers at 40 or 50%.
Yep.
But it was correct every time. Like I would put in an address and it would say, you're going to get there at 10%. And I would get there at 10%.
So what did you do to bypass some of that charging at 40 and 50% state of charge?
I just ignored it.
Oh, you did? You just drove to the next one and recalculated you?
I was using a better route planner.
Oh, you were. That's right. So you weren't using
I was literally only using built-in nav just in case the car wanted to precondition, although it wasn't cold enough to need to precondition. I was also doing that so that my distance and time would pop up on the gauge cluster, because a better route planner currently has a weird bug where your ETA disappears.
So and you have it to where, and you tell me I need to do this, where you have one of those ODB scanners in your car and it correlates and syncs with a better route planner, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it pretty much can see what your car is doing and then adjust a better route planner to that instead of
right. And then it calibrates based on how you drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Anyway, got to Fayetteville, drove around a little bit, got my bag, then decided to come home.
For the second time.
Ended up stopping at the new supercharger in Alma. Because I was leaving Fayetteville at like 30%.
Mm-hmm.
So Fayetteville to Alma makes sense why I would stop there. Which that one's right off pretty close to the interstate. It's at a Harps. So it's at a grocery store. Yep. Which is a bit odd. Weirdest supercharger layout I think I've ever seen. I don't know if you saw the pictures that I took.
You sent me a picture of one because there was something unique about that charge station that no one in Arkansas mentioned about.
It does have a magic dock.
All of them?
I think so, which is really weird because the Tesla app does not say it has a magic dock.
Yeah. I mean, you would know, you probably used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was trying to get the handle out. I couldn't get the actual NACS cable out and ended up holding the button, and there's the adapter. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll put my A to Z adapter down.
I wonder, did they get some funding for that before NEVI funding went kaput in Arkansas?
That is a weird.
I'm wondering if they got that, which is why they put the magic dock in, because that was that's what I'm wondering.
Because that was and that's something I've briefly talked to Landon from Arkansas EV Traveler about. Because that site was originally supposed to be a NEVI location, but then the NEVI program got cut.
Yep.
And so it might have magic docks because NEVI. All that stuff was ordered when they were going to get NEVI money.
Yep. And they went to the specs with NEVI and they decided to keep it. Yep.
And then they just kept it. I don't know. But anyway, again, same situation, 96 kilowatts, got tired of it and decided I was going to, again, try to stretch it to Little Rock, knowing that I had a backup of I could always stop in Clarksville and splash. I could always stop in
Conway,
blah, blah, blah. Ended up deciding I just splashed in Clarksville.
Yep.
And the main thing for that was when I left, I had enough juice to get to Little Rock. But a better route planner about halfway between Alma and Clarksville, which really isn't that far, suddenly started telling me I wasn't going to make it.
And how much? What did you leave Clarksville with? Alma with?
I was left at like 50%.
So you were trying to get from there to Clarksville
to Conway.
To do it?
No, I was trying to get from there to Conway.
Okay.
Which isn't that far. I should have been able to make it.
Yes.
But it's very suddenly, and around that time I could see there were storms rolling in behind me and whatever. I was like, well, maybe it's factoring some of that in. I don't know. I ended up stopping in Clarksville. I plugged in at Clarksville and charged for exactly 6 minutes, which was a nice feeling.
Yep.
But then I unplugged my car and ended up helping a family figure out how to charge their car because they had never used Electrify America before.
So were you still getting the 96 kilowatts at Clarksville or whatever it was, or did it go back up to normal on this time?
No, at Electrify America, it was full speed. It was fine.
Okay. But on your way back before you had issues at Electrify America, correct?
No, no, no.
Oh, that's right. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
all my issues have been just the Tesla superchargers only doing 97
Gotcha.
kilowatts.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I ended up helping a family get their Sierra EV AT4.
Nice.
Nice. If they were pulling like a 20-something foot camper with that had tons of solar on
Wait a
it.
minute, they're trying to charge at Clarksville with that thing? Or Conway?
Yeah, they
Clarksville has the tightest stalls that you can ever think of, and you can't pull into them. You have to like pull down and then back in because they put like the entrance on it. Like it's just weird.
Yeah. No, I was puckering the whole time. I was watching them park. But they needed help. Like they initially, because I was on a 350 station, because I'm in a GMP car.
Yep.
They were trying to use the same station. They didn't know that you can't have two cars charged at the same time.
Yeah. It's not a gas
so
station.
I had to help them with that. And they were like, well, why the heck would they put two cables here if you can't charge at the same time? I was like, I don't know the answer to that question. I've always wondered.
My shirt says EV Geek, not EA. Get this
I was
straight.
like, I have also always wondered why EA doesn't let you share power, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I literally unplugged after 6 minutes, and then I helped them. And they ended up, because the charge port was on the wrong side of the car, they like managed to stretch it all the way over the bed and get it, and he got it plugged in.
That's a thick cable to playing with too.
I know. And so then I had to walked him through adding money to his EA account,
which for that car would be $100.
He added $60. And then walked him through going in. He didn't know how to like go into the app, click on the charger, then click on which station you were on, swipe to charge.
Yep.
Anyway, got it started. 355 kilowatts.
Really? He was smoking.
He did it right. He pulled it at 10%.
There you go.
He did it right. For it to have never
Where was he
done
heading
it before.
to? Did you ever get that far?
I didn't ask.
Okay.
I didn't ask. Because then I left. Because I was ready to go. Ended up, so since I had done that and had charged for my 6 minutes, I ended up driving to Franklin's in Little Rock again. Full house when I got there. It was like 9 o'clock when I got there. By the way, so I left the house at like 10.
Wow, so you were in Fayetteville for a while.
I had to wait a little while, a little more time than I was expecting to.
I was like 10. You may get back at like 4.
Yeah, that was my initial estimation.
4:35.
Yes.
Yep.
I ended up spending about 2 hours in Fayetteville.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
I went and ate lunch and did a couple other little things. Anyway, got to Franklin's. It was full house when I got there. There was a not Grand Wagoneer. I did that when I did the video for that too. There was a Wagoneer S charging. There were 2 BMW i4s, which you never see.
A little bougie at Franklin's.
There was a Kia Niro that's 96%.
Just sitting there. Did someone leave it?
And they were in it. They were just hanging out, I guess. I don't know. Yep. And then there was a Bolt. And so I ended up using a 200 kilowatt station, not the 280 station, because an i4 and the Wagoneer were on the 280, which is fine. Yep. And so, again, I just was splashing in just enough to get home. And finally got home at like 9 o'clock. And that concluded my 1,900 miles of driving.
Yeah, I wouldn't have went with you if you were getting home that late. Sorry, Sebastian. That's past.
It's okay.
That's at my bedtime. 9 o'clock.
It was my bedtime too, because I had to work the next day.
Yep. Oh, that's right. You did work the next day. Yep.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yep.
So anyway, that was a really long-winded explanation of my week of travel. But ultimately, I was impressed, honestly, at no big issues at any stations.
Ride comfort. Software.
Oh yeah, that was fine.
No
I had some gripes. And I talked about it. I did record my trip to Fayetteville and back, because I was like, you know what, I am gonna at least get something out of this.
Yes.
I ended up not recording the trip up to Kansas and all that because it's just hard to wrangle and everything else at the same time. Yeah, I just decided, you know what, I'd rather enjoy the trip than try to wrangle and juggle everything. I was like, it's fine. I knew we'd be able to talk about it now.
My wife asked us why I didn't record our trip to Fayetteville. And I was like, I just want to enjoy the trip. I don't want to have to worry about recording. And she's like, are you going to record the trip to Nashville next month? And I said, I might not. I don't know. So it all depends.
Yeah. Anyway, but since I was by myself on the other ones, like I had no excuse. And I talk about it some there. HDA2 is frustrating at times.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with my car. I don't know.
What's frustrating with it?
The lane, it's all based around the dang lane centering.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've had that issue too.
The it feels like I've like was constantly fighting it almost. It's like it will track straight. That's not the issue. It tracks centered. That's fine.
Yep.
But the issue is it wants you to put torque into the wheel. But if you don't put enough torque into the wheel, it constantly nags you to put your hands on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So then you start putting more torque into the wheel, and then it thinks you're trying to take over steering, and so it cuts off.
Yep.
And it's like, no, I'm trying to. So then you just feel like you're just jerking around the whole time.
Yep.
It's like, I just want to drive the car, please.
And there's no current software. I mean, when you bought it, there was no current software update available for it.
Not that I knew of. Yeah.
Maybe you'll get an OTA like I will. Like I did.
Yeah, I might ask, but that was my main thing is just like the lane centering just was really grinding my gears. I never turned it off though, so I mean, I guess it wasn't too bad. But anyway, yeah, and I ran into that a couple times. I said it in the video. The smoothest that lane centering went for my entire trip over this last week was when I was doing 80 miles an hour on the turnpike in Oklahoma.
That's like straight and flat up there too.
Because I mean, that's the speed limit on that road.
Yep.
But yeah, still, it's like it felt the most stable and comfortable at 80 than it did anywhere else that I used.
And the turnpike does have a charging station up in that middle unit. Up in that
it does. It's a Francis Energy, and I did not use it.
I don't blame you.
Mainly because I didn't need to. So yeah, that was my main gripe was just HDA. It was basically all HDA related. It drove fine. It rode fine. Had power's fine. You can get around cars. You can pass. It's an EV. All that stuff is normal. All that's fine. It was mainly just HDA, and it's so impressive because I know we recently drove a 2025 Ioniq 5. You have a 2026 EV9 that I've recently driven. We've recently driven an Ioniq 9. It is amazing how much better those systems are.
Really?
Like, and just comparatively, like thinking back and like, especially that comparing to the 2025 Ioniq 5 that we drove recently. It's amazing how much better those systems are, but Hyundai is still calling them the same thing. It's still HDA2. They're not calling it HDA3 or anything like that. And I think, honestly, the biggest help on it is that they switched to a capacitive wheel.
Yep.
So you don't have to put torque into the dang wheel and then have the car cut out because it thinks you're putting in actual steering input.
And you're right, especially that makes me think, even when I'm driving down like a normal road, not in cruise control, 45, my hands on the wheel, it tells me to put my hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
It's like, take control. I'm like, my hands are already on the wheel. Like, I don't need to take control I'm going 45 down the 2-lane highway in front of my house here. Yeah, no pop up or that and the sensors are abnormally sensitive too. So
every stoplight, every
stoplight, get close to a car, beep. I'm like, oh my God. I have to turn it off in the carpool line sometimes. It just beeps nonstop. So I'm like, nope, gotta turn you off.
Mine really only tends to go off in a couple locations, and I know it does it every time. Like when I'm leaving my house, I'm on a hill, and so I get to the bottom of my driveway, and I have to usually stop because we're on a highway, and I have to turn it off because it thinks I'm going to crash. Because
it starts going flashing red. Yeah, mine does that too because I live on a slope too.
And then there's a couple spots like when I'm pulling into a work parking lot, same thing where it's an incline up, and it thinks I'm going to crash because I'm going up a hill. I don't know, but it's fine otherwise.
Yep. All right, I think that's a wrap, Sebastian.
All right, well, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to EV Geek Studios on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, we will release our review of... What is next week?
Didn't tell me.
I didn't put this on the doc. Hold on. Hold on. Look at me being prepared.
It's one of 3 choices.
All right, Joel. You pick. You ready?
Cybertruck.
Really? That's the one you pick? Okay.
I forgot the name of the other the truck. The Mullen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do the Mullen. That sounds
We'll do
fun.
the Mullen next week. We'll have to throw something different in here. We'll do a 1-seater cargo van. Why not? So yeah.
That sounds fun. So yeah, we'll do a review of the Mullen 1. If you guys have any thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments below because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.